Hi guys, today I'm going to be opening up July's Kawaii Craft Kit, and I even got the special tape this time. Look how cute it is. I'm really excited to try this month's box because the activity is revolving around jellyfish, and I love the ocean. And I also have not used the medium as well that's included in the box, so it's going to be super fun this month. So this time the box came with a little pamphlet or like brochure, and this is the outside, and on the back there is the supplies, and inside is the example project with instructions, which is really nice because, like I said, I haven't used a medium like this before, so it's really nice to actually, be told how to make the project. Okay, so over here it looks like we have some metallic sheets. So these look like they are okay, I can't find anything on this list that would somewhat resemble these, so I'm assuming this means that this is going to be the bonus mystery items. So they're really pretty, and this month's theme is like a jellyfish. I could totally see this being used for something like that because of, just those kind of nautical colors. You got all those colors, kind of like jellyfish when they glow up. So this is really pretty. Next up, we have a mold for the resin. So as you can see, it's a nice crystal shape. Here is a silicone mixing cup. And some more molds. Here's a little bag of popsicle sticks. So I've been looking for the jellyfish in this set because I knew they were supposed to come, and I just realized that they're actually in these tiny little test tubes in here that I thought were going to carry something else. But just look at how cute this is. Look how tiny they are. That's so cute. I'm so excited. I love jellyfish. This kit reminded me of one of those clear things you get with a jellyfish inside if you've ever been to an aquarium. Like, they're fake jellyfish, but it kind of looks like you got a cool jellyfish in your room. So that's why I was really excited to get this kit, because you're kind of making like a miniature version of that. And over here we have two color pigments. This one is a solid light blue, and this one is a semi-clear blue. Here is the two cases of resin. This is a two-part resin kit. So you have the epoxy resin there and the different ratios of it. And this is another item I was excited about, is we get glow dust. So we're actually going to be able to make this craft glow in the dark just like a real jellyfish, which I think is really awesome. Another supply I noticed at the very bottom, this is the last supply, is they give you a silicone mat and it's pink. I'm like so happy because this is actually really useful, because I have a glass desk, which it's nice, stuff will come off easily sometimes, but other times it is hard to definitely clean it. So it would be nice to have a nice, pretty, solid color background like this to work on, not just for this project, for any projects I'm working on. And then last but not least, we have the pin that's always included in the box, and this time we have a cute little jellyfish. The first layer of resin that I decided to do was with the jellyfish. I mixed up about 40 milliliters first, and I decided to do the jellyfish first because there were two really good tricks in the pamphlet. The one was it recommended doing just a little bit of glow powder on the jellyfish strands, because if you mixed it in with the ink for the whole crystal, it would cloud. And then two, if you did resin strands on the jellyfish, then it would allow you to prop them up inside the crystal, because I didn't want them to fall to the bottom, obviously, which they would have done. So I did that. I also worked on the little mountain with some of the resin. As you see, the mountain can actually fit into the cube. So if you do the mountain first and then put the cube on it, it's kind of like a mountain in the clear water. And I also saved one of my jellyfish to go in there. I also decided to use some of that transparent paper to put on the bottom of the mountain, kind of like a ground, and I really like the way that turned out. So now I'm putting on the strands on the Jellyfish just over the silicone mat. And as you can see, I unfortunately made quite a mess of it. I tried stopping the silicone or the resin from going into each other, and I totally missed the third Jellyfish strand. But that was okay because I was going to actually run into a much bigger problem later than just the resin blending into each other. So as you can hear in this clip, as I was tapping on the top of the resin to see if it was dry, it sounded dry. It felt pretty dry, but it was denting, and when I took the resin out, it was a little sticky on the side. So after watching this footage, I realized I only mixed the resin for like 1 minute. So I now understand how important it is to set a timer for yourself, because you really think you mixed it for so long and you didn't. The other main problem I ran into was that my Jellyfish strand resin, it was completely dry for sure on both sides, and it was very clear and shiny. But the minute I took it off my silicone mat, it stopped being shiny and clear. It turned cloudy, and I still have no idea why. I thought maybe if it was wet on the bottom and I had lifted it up, then, a bunch of air particles got in, but it was very dry on the bottom. So I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming some weird thing happened because I didn't mix well enough. But that really sucked because, the whole point of having the Jellyfish in resin was so that I could prop them up in the crystal. But obviously I'm not going to prop them up with cloudy resin while there's clear resin around them. So after some thinking, I realized that what if I use just some clear string to hold them in place, and then hopefully you wouldn't be able to see the string when I put the resin in. And luckily that worked for propping them up. So after that failure fiasco, I started with a new batch of 80 milliliters of resin for the crystal, and this time I made sure to mix it thoroughly for 6 minutes, and it was definitely working a lot better. However, I was unfortunately walking into my next major failure of putting way too much dye. The pamphlet did say that less is more, but I thought that I could get away with a few more drops of dye than the video because I wanted mine to have a little more color in it. But I think really my main problem was not that the amount of dye I put in, it was that my placement. In the tutorial video for this, everything's pretty centralized actually, and the creator, she actually even put the dye colors on top of one another. And I think this would help minimize the spreading to the edges of the crystal, because once I take it out, you can see how actually the majority of the color is stuck around that edges. So because the edges are so dark, it's hard to look in. So I was a little sad that that happened, but it's okay because it's something that I learned not to do next time I use resin. And I think the crystal still looked pretty cool. And the mountain, once it came out, I was super happy with, so that was at least good. I did wait a while since getting this box to start because I was pretty nervous about using it. Obviously, resin is a chemical, and all those types of art materials that have, some type of hazard with them, I'm not super comfortable using. I definitely wanted to try resin, but that made me really nervous. Fortunately, though, I did work right next to my big sliding door. There's definitely a ton of ventilation, and you couldn't really smell anything. And I know though that smell's not, indicative that there's no bad fumes coming out, but it was still really good. It didn't have a bad smell, and I definitely feel more comfortable working with it now. It's still not something I would do all the time because of that risk with it, but definitely something I want to do every now and again. So like I mentioned earlier, I was super happy with the mountain cube when it came out. I thought the purple foiling looked really awesome in the resin piece, and the Jellyfish blended in super nice. I also decided to keep the air bubbles in my resin because I thought it would look cool for a water effect, so I thought the bubbles looked really cute. Unfortunately, my crystal gem did turn out obviously too blue. The dye definitely creates a really cool strand effect for Jellyfish if I had been able to control it better.
One eternity later.
But it's not the biggest deal. I've learned now because I still have some resin left, so next time I make something, I'll be more aware of that. And also, the glow-in-the-dark powder looks super cool on this. It definitely works really well, and I think especially in the mountain piece where the whole mountain's glow-in-the-dark compared to the just clear cube, it's awesome. So overall, I was super happy with this box, and I'm really glad it introduced me to resin.